Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name is Rux, I'm Western Tropical Astrologer, and today we're going to be talking about the new moon in Gemini. This is happening on the 6th of June at 12:37 GMT time, so you can adjust that for your own time zone, folks. The new moon is happening at 16 degrees 17 minutes of Gemini. So those of you who have in your natal chart planets, angles, important points around 16 to 17 degrees of mutable signs, you folks are going to feel this new moon the most. What are the mutable signs, you might ask? Well, Gemini, of course, but also Sagittarius, Pisces, and Virgo. Now, some of you will really like this lunation. I mean, I'm just gonna be honest here. Everyone's probably gonna like this new moon. It is actually a very lucky, I dare say even blessed lunation. Why? Because it is happening with both benefics in the same sign. So both Venus and Jupiter, the two benefics in astrology, are going to be in Gemini at the time of the new moon. There's also another reason. The dispositor of the new moon, which is Mercury, is going to be very strong in domicile in Gemini and making really nice aspects with Pluto, planet of transformation. So it's actually a very lucky lunation, a very beneficial, I dare say, lunation. I'm generally very reluctant to categorize things into two categories, like good and bad, good or bad. Essentially, life is a lot more nuanced than that. But what I can tell you is that we are, most of us are actually likely to really benefit from this new moon. I'm going to explain how and why, and why I believe that is the case. I would see this new moon as a very important seed moment, as a very important marker of a fresh start, of a new beginning, of a new chapter, of something kind of like starting to take shape, to form. You have to also remember that the new moon is the seed moment. It is not the culminating point. The full moon is generally the culminating point, the culminating moment, and we are likely to maybe see some results connected with this new moon, and with the intentions that we set, with the endeavors that we kick off. We're likely to see some results sometime in the winter, or it depends where you are in the world. In the winter in the northern hemisphere, I'm looking at end of November throughout maybe first half of December. We're probably going to see some of the outcomes, some of the consequences, some of the results of the intentions that we've set at the time of this new moon. Now, I did say that someone in particular, or some people in particular, are going to like this new moon more than others. I'm looking at folks who have planets or angles around 16 to 17 degrees of the following signs: Aquarius, Libra, Leo, Aries, and that's pretty much it. So you folks are going to probably feel like this new moon is particularly auspicious, just because it's going to make a really nice aspect with your natal planetary placements. I'm referring at your own astrological natal chart. Your own astrological birth chart. Why is natal so hard to say? Anyway, how can you find your astrological birth chart? How can you generate it? How can you obtain it? It's actually quite easy. You do need your date, time, and place of birth. The time of birth is actually super important, because without the time of birth, you obviously cannot generate your birth chart. And you can use websites such as astro-seek or astro.com. They generate your natal chart for free. You just have to input your date, time, and place of birth, and you're going to get a graphic depiction of what the sky looked like at the time of your birth. Obviously, we use kind of like simplified, like astrological symbolism, and you're also going to see that there are some symbols within your astrological birth chart. Those are the planets and maybe the angles and important points, and they have numbers next to them. And generally those numbers indicate the degrees and the minutes of your natal placements. I apologize if this is too geeky, too technical, and you absolutely don't care. I know that there are some people who jump straight to the update for their own zodiac sign, and that is absolutely fine. If that works, that is absolutely your prerogative. Of course, there's going to be timestamps in the description box as well as in the pinned comment. Timestamps kind of like taking you to the update for each of the 12 zodiac signs. But before we go to the updates for each zodiac sign, I would like us to take a few minutes to go through the main themes of the new moon. So a fresh start, a new beginning, a new chapter that involves one of the following, or it could be several of the following. Learning, education of some sorts, because Gemini is an air sign. It's a sign that has a lot to do with ideas, logic, communication, the intellect, analyzing information, analyzing data. So it can bring this new moon a fresh start that involves learning, that involves communication of some sorts, that involves reading, writing, maybe something that involves maybe an element of commerce and sales. So you have to remember that Mercury, the planet that rules Gemini, is also the god of commerce and the god of transportation. And especially we are thinking here of like short distance, kind of like transportation. So like couriers, like deliveries, and so on. This new moon can also bring a fresh start in terms of ideas. You have to remember that Gemini is the first of the air signs. It's the first that expresses kind of like their opinions. It's the first that kind of like starts analyzing things and coming up, concocting kind of like ideas and coming up with maybe an objective, analytical, detached way of seeing reality. A fresh start also involving some element of curiosity and versatility and flexibility, as well as maybe networking and sharing with other people. All air signs are about sharing things with other people. All air signs are social signs. Sure, Libra is more focused on one-to-one. Aquarius is more focused on communities and tribes and humanity overall. Gemini kind of like in terms of energy goes from kind of like one place to the next and is kind of like very eager to connect, to pick up new ideas, to pick up new information, to disseminate information. Gemini is a sign that is very concerned with analysis and facts. It's not necessarily concerned with morals. That's Jupiter's and kind of like Sagittarian territory. It is concerned with conveying a message, with kind of like understanding things logically, rationally, analyzing the data, analyzing the numbers, analyzing the stats, and kind of like passing on the information. You also have to remember that in mythology, Mercury, or Hermes, the Greek equivalent of Mercury, or Hermes was the only god that could travel between worlds, that could travel between the world of the living and the world of the dead. So it could go into the underground in the realm of Hades, and it was the only. Hermes was the only god that, or actual kind of like being that could come out of the underworld unscathed and untouched by death. And that, I have to say, that tells us something. It tells us that Mercury and Gemini as a kind of like pure archetypal energy is very much able to work with all facets of like our logical, rational mind, including the facets that aren't necessarily moralistic or ethical or maybe even empathetic. I'd say it has no qualms when it comes to going into into the space of the underground, of taboos, of darkness, so to speak. Last but not least, Gemini is also a sign very strongly connected with dexterity and kind of like being able to like handle things, being able to be kind of like crafty in a way, just like Virgo. I have to say, with Gemini, there's a curiosity to understand kind of like how things work. Let's put it this way. At a collective level, I dare say that this new moon probably is going to bring in some good news. Some news of like transformation, some news of transformation that impacts groups of people, that impacts communities, that impacts masses of people. Transformation that also is very strongly concerned with the energy of balance and equilibrium and conversations and sitting down at the negotiation table and finding a way to reach agreements, I'd say. Possibly also good news at a collective level when it comes to maybe education, maybe access to education for certain groups of people. Maybe also news of innovation coming up connected with the way that we communicate. So maybe there's like some sort of like a scientific breakthrough or like a new means for communication, or there could be news around how communication is going to become easier in some shape or form. I mean, I realize that we are in this kind of like hyper-connected world in this day and age where everyone's on social media and like everyone's got like, I don't know, like their phones with them and like several like messaging apps at the same time. So maybe I'm not seeing it right now, but if there is like a better way to connect and to kind of keep in touch with the right people, the right tribe, there is a high chance that this new moon is going to bring it to our attention. Are we likely to also see some rules, some regulations, connected with maybe communication, maybe connected with sales, commerce, social media? Yes, I dare say there could be some rules that are enforced because the new moon is also going to be squaring Saturn, and Saturn's like, hold on, not so fast. I get that you're excited. I get that you want a fresh start. I get that you want to transform things. I get that you want to do things in a novel way. But have you thought about the long term? Have you thought about the status quo? Have you thought about the practical aspects of how things are going to work? Have you thought about maybe the emotional impact of how things are going to work out? That's a good question. And we are probably going to have to think about all of these elements when the new moon comes. We're going to go into the update for each of the 12 zodiac signs, but I do want to flag a couple of things before that. First and foremost, please listen to the update for your rising sign, for your ascendant, because this type of general horoscope, this type of general forecast is built with the rising sign in mind. Secondly, remember that this is a general forecast. This is not a personal astrological consultation. So you cannot expect it to kind of completely reflect what is happening in your life. If you would like a personal astrological consultation, and I know some of you have been with me on my channel, on my journey with astrology for a very, very long time, and you probably know this, but I'm also sharing it in case some people are well, there are actually quite a few new people here, so I'm sharing this for them. I am a full-time consulting astrologer. I work with clients one-to-one on a day-to-day basis, and if you want to work with me, if you would like to book a personal astrological consultation, a personal astrological reading that is based off of your natal chart, that is the most accurate, granular, and in-depth type of consultation that you can get, you can find me on my website. My website is writteninthestars-astrology.com. That is writteninthestars-astrology.com. And you can go straight to the services section. If you're a new client, the 1 hour, 15-minute Zoom consultation is the service to go for, regardless of the topics that you would like us to address, be it year ahead forecasting or natal chart interpretation or compatibility or relocation astrology, that is the option to go for. If you are an existing client, you have 2 additional options: the year ahead forecast at a preferential rate, and the 30 minutes follow-up consultation if you have some specific questions or one particular area that you would like us to dig into, or maybe you want like a short kind of like check-in throughout the year. The 30 minutes follow-up consultation is a good option for that. Now, generally the waiting time when it comes to booking a consultation with me is between, it depends, a month to 2 months. So right now when I'm filming this on the 29th of May, I'm taking bookings for the end of July. So the waiting time is going to be like a month and a half, approximately, like almost 2 months. Written in the stars-astrology.com, straight to the services section. That is where you can find me. And now, of course, we're going to go into the update for each of the 12 zodiac signs. Please, please, please listen to your rising sign update if you can, if you know what your rising sign is. And obviously, we are going to start off with the one and only Aries. My lovely, lovely, lovely Aries. Aries suns and Aries risings. 6th of June, active 3 days before, 3 days after. We've got a new moon happening in your 3rd house of communication, short distance traveling, siblings, education, neighborhood. And Mercury, the ruler of the new moon, is not only conjunct Jupiter, the great benefic, it's also forming a nice aspect with Pluto in the 11th house. So what can you expect at the time of this new moon, Aries? A fresh start, a new beginning. It's a great time to start off something new. When it comes to learning something, so if you want to start off maybe like a new class, a new course, if you want to enroll upon a new course, then this is the time to do so. I dare say that you may actually kick off a chapter of learning regardless of whether you consciously decide to sign up for it or not. It feels like you're going to start learning something maybe together with a community, together with a group of people. It does feel like your connection with a community, with a tribe, with an organization is going to contribute probably over the next 6 months. It's going to contribute to you developing your intellectual skills and competencies in some shape or form. So I literally feel like this is the beginning of a journey of kind of like enriching your knowledge and your skill set. You might also start working together on something that involves writing, reading, communication. You might start working on something together with a group of people or as part of an organization. It also feels like this is a fresh start in terms of how you're thinking about your future, my dear Aries. You could be inspired by some of your friends, by a mentor, a guide, a teacher, maybe even by a partner or a collaborator or a counselor or a consultant or a therapist of some sorts. It feels like you're inspired and you're starting to think about your future in a novel way. You've got new ideas, you've got fresh ideas. You may want to share these with others. You may also feel inspired to start writing something, and it feels like you're getting a lot of inspiration from, again, maybe like a friend or a group of friends or a community that you're a part of, or a guide or a teacher of some sorts. You might also start writing something together with someone else. So let's say you're planning to write, I don't know, like a course. You're planning to, I don't know, create your own course, or you want to write a textbook or something. I would not shy away from reaching out to someone who can help you on this project, because it does feel like collaboration is going to be very fruitful, very, very successful. Some of you could purchase a new car or a new means of transportation. Some of you could hear also fantastic news connected with your siblings. Maybe a sibling is getting married or they're engaged or something like that. And there could also be news coming from siblings, maybe connected with their education. So positive news connected with their education. Whatever you start off, my lovely Aries, please, please, please read the fine print. If you are teaming up with someone, if you are signing up for, I don't know, like a new car lease, please read the fine print, because you don't want to end up overspending or overpaying just because you have not read, the terms and conditions. Taurus, my lovely Taurus suns and Taurus risings. 6th of June, active 3 days before, 3 days after. There is a new moon happening in your second house, conjunct both benefics. I mean, the new moon is widely conjunct Jupiter, widely conjunct. It's kind of like co-present with Jupiter in the same sign. The new moon is conjunct Venus, almost to the exact, like, almost to the very kind of like minute. It's conjunct by degree. So a fresh start, my dear Taurians, when it comes to the following. New source of income, very possibly. New approach to money and finances. So I dare say that many of you could start making more money, actually. You may start pricing yourselves, or not yourselves, because obviously you're not selling your soul. You might start pricing your services differently. I feel like this is the perfect time to kind of like elevate your prices. It also feels like you could start collaborating with someone new professionally, and in the long term, this is probably going to be very successful, my dear Taurians, when it comes to financial outcomes. You may also start learning something new that is probably going to have a positive impact upon your material security. So you could start learning about maybe like investments or budgeting better, or you could start developing a particular set of skills that is going to pay off dramatically, I wanna say, in the long term, when it comes to both your financial situation, so your material security, as well as your overall career path. I'd say it seems to be setting you up on a path of success, and whatever it is that you may start learning around this time, or whatever it is that your mind is kind of like super like stimulated by around this time, Taurians, it does feel like it's going to transform the way that you see your future professionally, and give you some really good ideas. Ideas is a keyword for this new moon. Write them down and implement them, Taurians. And if you need to bring someone on board, I mean, why not? Why not? You might need to bring, I don't know, like an investor on board, or like a partner, or like a collaborator on board, or maybe even a friend. If you need to collaborate with a friend, or with a community of people, or with an organization, I would keep in mind that maybe they are a little bit kind of like sensitive to like the rules, essentially, and to respecting and kind of like playing by the rules. So they might be a tiny little bit reluctant to some of the ideas that you have, but that doesn't mean that you cannot turn them around. On the contrary, it might take a little bit longer to turn them around, however, Taurians. Geminis, the stars of this new moon, 6th of June, active 3 days before, 3 days after. There's a new moon happening in your first house, conjunct Venus. Mercury, the ruler of the new moon, is trining Pluto in the 9th house. I feel like you are stepping into a completely new chapter, my dear Geminis, on a personal level, especially when it comes to, I'm gonna say, what makes you happy, your passions, your hobbies, your love life possibly, maybe also your relationship with yourselves and with your own kind of like physical body, and how much you appreciate yourselves, how much you love yourselves, how much you take care of yourselves. It feels like your perception and your beliefs and your kind of like your way of thinking when it comes to how you see yourselves is going through a drastic transformation. So you might start seeing yourselves in a completely different light, Geminis. You might start appreciating yourselves a lot more. You might start loving yourselves. I know that sounds super cheesy, but genuinely like loving yourselves a lot more. You might also feel really excited and kind of like brimming with ideas, with creative ideas, when it comes to a passion project, but maybe also when it comes to I'm gonna say any type of project that involves publishing, marketing, like spreading the word, sales, maybe spreading an idea. It does feel like you're very keen to like start sharing a message that is important to you on a personal level. Some of you could be going through a very drastic transformation for the better when it comes to your identity and your residence or your connection with a foreign land or a foreign country. So for example, some of you could start maybe the process of applying for citizenship abroad. So that is just kind of like one possibility, my dear Geminis. It does feel like you can also start learning something new about yourselves, maybe about your body around this time, maybe to study like something new connected with like health, for instance. And some of you could have some very, very good news to share with the world connected with children, especially I'm thinking here about pregnancy, I'd say. Some of you could also maybe decide to go on a new life path, which feels very different. So kind of like really transformative. This life path seems to be very strongly motivated by good news happening in the life of your child. So let's say that your kid gets accepted to, I don't know, some prestigious school, and you decide, you know what, we are going to move because this is worth it. This school is worth it. Cancerians, Cancer Suns and Cancer Risings, 6th of June, active 3 days before, 3 days after, new moon in your 12th house, conjunct Venus, my dear Cancerians, and trine Mercury, the ruler of the new moon, is trining Pluto. I will say this, it's a fresh start for you Cancerians, but behind the scenes, you might start reading, writing, learning something new behind the scenes. It could be something connected with money and investments. It could be something connected with your mental health and also your emotional health. It could be something connected with your partner's resources, and maybe behind the scenes together with a partner, you're kind of like starting to make plans connected with resources, and maybe together you are, I don't know, like learning how to, for example, I don't know, set up a trust fund or something. So there can be quite a bit of focus on the partner's finances around this time if you are in a relationship. Some of you could start a new practice that is likely to have a very positive impact upon your mental health. And it could be a practice of journaling, for instance. It could be a practice maybe also of going to therapy or attending counseling sessions. Some of you could also start learning something of a spiritual nature. So let's say there are some Cancer risings out there that will start learning, I don't know, like astrology or tarot or something along those lines. It also feels like this is a fresh start for you Cancerians in terms of how you approach your blind spots and maybe the habits that could be a little bit on the self-destructive side. So you might have kind of like new insight, and you might realize, this is how I can change the way that I think so that I don't end up sabotaging myself, so that I don't end up kind of like talking to myself in such a way that it deters me from accomplishing my my goals. So I see you kind of like getting a lot of like mental insights into how you think, and maybe also into how your subconscious thinks, and how the voice of the subconscious is kind of like impacting your goals, your plans, and your belief system, and your targets and your objectives. And I see this like strong energy of like transformation in this regards, my dear Cancerians. Leo Suns and Leo Risings, 6th of June, active 3 days before, 3 days after. There is a new one in your 11th house, conjunct Venus. I feel like you are like either like making a new friend or entering a new community, or kind of like starting something new and fresh involving friends, communities, tribes, connections, a new beginning that you are very, very excited about, that you feel kind of like really lucky to be involved with. That kind of like brings in, I want to say, like-minded individuals, people who you can benefit from, maybe also people who you can benefit from professionally. You could actually enter a new community or start kind of like doing something, collaborating, working with a community that is in some shape or form connected with your career, with your professional life. New goals, new intentions, new ideas for what the future can look like in terms of your professional life. And I feel like you have a lot of support here from a partner. It could be a business partner. It could also be a consultant, an advisor, a mentor. You might also start making some really exciting plans for the future, and they could already be underway. and having some really important conversations about what the future is going to look like together with your significant other, especially for those of you who are in a relationship. I feel like the plans are big. I feel like you've got a partner on your side or a collaborator on your side. I do feel, however, like you might need to take a little bit of extra time to discuss about the topic of money and finances and financial implications, because your partner might have some reservations on that front. If you are teaming up with someone financially at the time of this new moon, please read the fine print. And I know that's maybe not the best way to start off a partnership, but if you're signing a contract, look into what sort of terms and conditions you're agreeing to if you decide to kind of like leave the partnership or exit the partnership, or if you want out, essentially. I want to say, my dear Leos, that this seems to be a time of celebration, of sharing something with the world, and it feels like it's a great time to bring people together, and also ask yourselves, who are your people, and what sort of like actions do you need to take socially, essentially, to connect more with the right individuals, with your people, like-minded individuals, your tribe, I'd say. Virgos, Virgo suns and Virgo risings. 6th of June, active 3 days before, 3 days after. There's gonna be a new moon in your 10th house of career, public status, and public reputation, conjunct Venus. I love this. Okay, so some of you Virgos are probably gonna get a new job, a more prestigious job, maybe a job that involves stepping up the ladder, maybe a promotion of some sorts. A fresh start career-wise is highly likely for Virgos, especially Virgo risings. Even if the fresh start doesn't necessarily involve a new job, it could be a fresh start maybe in terms of kicking off a new professional project, something that is going to get you a lot of exposure, something that's going to put you in the spotlight, something that's going to have you work with new teams, new people, something that's going to really contribute to your career growth. So it could be like a new job, a more prestigious job, but it could also be a new work project that involves you working with other people, that involves you working with a new team, and that involves you kind of like working differently, maybe learning how to like work with new tools, how to use different like tools, tactics, strategies in your day-to-day work, my dear Virgos. This is the perfect time to ask yourselves, where do I want to take my career? And if you want to take it in a new direction, it's time to like start talking to people. It's a great time to start networking, reaching out, sending emails, applying to jobs, because the stars are working in your favor. They are conspiring in your favor, so to speak, Virgos, to give you this fresh, exciting, very beneficial start. This fresh start professionally is likely to bring more money, and it's likely to be very blessed financially as well. So I would really take advantage of it. Some of you might also have something, so setting career aside, you might have something new to share with the world connected with your romantic status and your romantic relationship. So maybe there is like an announcement to make connected with your romantic status and your partnership kind of sector. You might decide to partner up with someone romantically if you're single. You might also decide to partner up with someone that can help you with your kind of like status and reputation and image in the world. So you could partner up, for example, with, I don't know, like a personal trainer if you are, I don't know, looking to improve your image, to improve your health, and so on. You seem to have some really fantastic ideas as to how your place in the world and your position in the world and your reputation in the world can be improved. So I would definitely start acting upon them and really enroll the people who have knowledge and experience and intel on how to make this happen, because there will be people around you who can make this happen. So yeah, like speak to them, talk to them. Libras, Libra suns and Libra risings. Let's see what is going on, Libras. 6th of June, active 3 days before, 3 days after. We've got a new one in your 9th house, conjunct Venus. Okay, this is nice. This is great. So a fresh start, Libras. In terms of how you think about yourselves, how you think about your place in the world, how you think about the big picture of your life. You might be exposed to a new life philosophy, a new set of ideas. Conversations with people might get you thinking about like seeing the world in a different way, seeing yourselves in a different way. Seeing yourselves in a more appreciative light, I'd say. This new moon can also bring a fresh start in terms of your connection with foreign lands and foreign countries. So you could be forming a new connection abroad, for example, maybe a connection with a client abroad or with like a business partner abroad. You might start the process, for example, of applying for citizenship abroad. This can also be a fresh start for those of you who are involved with legal entities or institutions in any shape or form, Libras. A fresh start that puts you in a very advantageous position. So let me give you an example. Let's say you, maybe this is not the best example, but let's say you want to sue someone and you're like, okay, I got to talk to a lawyer. It feels like around the time of this new moon, you're probably both going to find the lawyer, and not just find the lawyer, but find the person who is going to help you win and help you get all the benefits that you should get out of this legal endeavor. A fresh start at the time of this new moon, Libras, also from an educational perspective, especially when it comes to academic education. Some of you might sign up for like studies, for your master's, your PhD, or maybe you've like wrapped up your academic path or part of it, and now you're thinking, what now? What next? Those of you who have kids could also experience some sort of a fresh start connected with your children's education, something that you're very proud of, something that you feel like really grateful about. So for example, your child might be, your almost like adult child might be accepted into like a university or into a certain like yes, kind of like college program and so on. It does feel like the meaning of life and the big picture of your life is going through a reset, Libras, and it's bringing into your life more kind of like positivity, more optimism, and maybe even more focus on the activities and the aspects of your life that make you feel happy and lucky to be alive. So I'm liking this. I'm liking this new moon. One thing, remember, my dear Libras. You might still need to kind of look quite closely at your day-to-day life and ask yourselves, okay, what sort of like adjustments do I need to make in order to implement this sort of like new life philosophy into my day-to-day life and even work? Scorpios, Scorpio suns and Scorpio risings. 6th of June, active 3 days before, 3 days after. There's going to be a new one in your 8th house, conjunct Venus, and Mercury trines Pluto. Okay, beautiful. So Scorpios, I feel like some of you could get very good news, very positive news, and really kind of like good ideas connected with your investment sector. So if you have investments, there might be an opportunity for investments coming up, or there could be good news around existing investments, and you might be thinking, okay, what should I do? Fresh start. Should I cash in? Should I take some of the wins? Should I take some of the money and invest it into like home or real estate? If you are waiting for any sort of news connected with mortgages, loans, credits, it is a time when you're likely to get good news or beneficial news. It's also a great time maybe to start the process of applying for a mortgage, especially after the 6th of June. If you need investments in any shape or form, maybe into, I don't know, something connected with your work or something along those lines, it's a great time to start having those conversations with potential investors, because I do believe you're probably going to win people over and persuade them to invest in whatever it is that you're enthralled by, whatever project you are yourselves engaged in and invested in. A gift of some sorts, or news of a gift, very likely, possibly coming from the family. If you are looking to sell land, property, to sell anything really, but especially land, property, and real estate, it's a great time to set the wheels in motion, to get the ball rolling, because you may find a buyer really shortly, I'd say. And last but not least, for those of you who are in a relationship, there is a very high chance that your partner might start making more money, or that a new source of income might be coming their way, something that maybe requires you to possibly relocate. It could also be something that allows you to transform your living situation, for example, to like renovate the space that you are living in. And it's generally a great time to talk about money with other people. It could be a life partner, it could be a business partner, it could be a parent. It's a great time to sit down, to come up with ideas, to do a brainstorm, and to decide, okay, this is how it's going to work. Sure, if you talk about like joint, financial objectives with, let's say, a partner, it may feel like you possibly need to compromise a tiny little bit on some expenses connected with the things that make you, that make you happy, your passions and hobbies, or you might need to compromise on some expenses connected with children, I'd say. But I do believe, I very strongly believe that you can reach an accord, you can reach an agreement, and everyone can like win from this agreement, Scorpios. Sagittarius suns and Sagittarius risings. 6th of June, active 3 days before, 3 days after. There's going to be a new moon in your 7th house, conjunct Venus. Okay, so what a beautiful new moon, Sagittarians. Fresh start, especially when it comes to partnerships. Now, partnerships doesn't necessarily mean romantic. I actually believe that this is the fresh start that can bring in a work collaboration, a work partnership, Sagittarius. It's a great time to start talking to people about business collaborations, to say yes to invitations to like social events, networking events, that could in any shape or form connect you with people who you could benefit from work-wise, or who you could collaborate with work-wise. You could also start a new partnership, a new collaboration with someone who's going to help you on the health front. And I do believe they're going to make a massive difference. They've got new ideas, they've got different ideas. They're going to make a massive difference in terms of how you see yourselves, how you see your bodies, how you maybe see and understand and make sense of the whole topic of health in general. You may also start talking with someone, and kind of like start the conversation with someone who can sell you something, or who can buy something from you, Sagittarius. So if you have anything that you need to buy or sell, this is the perfect time to start that conversation. I feel like someone's ideas from the outside are really changing the way that you think about things. And it's good to be open. It's good to be open to others. It's good to be open to other people's like views, ideas, perspectives, because it feels like they're bringing an infusion of new energy, and you're kind of like your mind is on fire, and it could also infuse you with like new mental, intellectual energy, work-wise, health-wise. So beautiful. Those of you who are single, you can meet someone who can be a very, dare I say, suitable choice when it comes to entering into a long-term partnership. So you can meet someone who you're very drawn to, who you're very attracted to, someone who's very kind of like magnetic, someone who's got like a very like sharp mind. They're good with words. They're very insightful. They're very kind of like incisive with the way that they think. They might dazzle you with their intelligence, let's say. So I do believe that this can be a fresh start in terms of your romantic life, Sagittarians. Now, sometimes we meet people and we don't realize, oh my God, this person is going to be important. Sometimes things make sense in hindsight. So if you meet someone and you're single and you're thinking, I don't know if I'm going to be with this person, that doesn't mean that you're not going to be with them further down the line. It could just be like the first like date, even if it's unofficial. Maybe you meet someone casually when you go to the gym and you hit it off and you've got like a good connection and good chemistry, and I don't know, like 6 months from now you decide to give them a chance romantically. So things can work like that. You don't necessarily need to go out on a date in order to connect with a potential romantic partner. But indeed, it can be a fresh start romantically. If you're in a relationship, Sagittarians, it feels like you are getting along better with your romantic partner. You're finding a new way to kind of like understand each other, express your thoughts, express your opinions. It feels like communication is flowing more easily, and even communication about topics that could be a little bit more difficult, such as, I don't know, like duties and responsibilities around the house. Even these types of conversations are likely to go quite well. Capricorns, Capricorn suns and Capricorn risings, 6th of June, active 3 days before, 3 days after. There's going to be a new moon in your 6th house, conjunct Venus. Okay, Capricorns, I dare say that many of you will start a new job or will accept a new job. It could be within the same company. It could be in a different company. It feels like it's a job that stimulates your mind. It feels like it's a job or like a work project that pushes you to like stretch yourself, to get out of your comfort zone when it comes to learning new things. Maybe when it comes to learning how to use certain tools, when it comes to maybe expressing your creativity or your artistic kind of like inclinations in a new way, in a novel way, in a different way. A new beginning work-wise that involves creativity, especially mental creativity. So the creative use of like ideas, words, language, and so on is very, very likely. You might start a really enjoyable collaboration at work. So if you're not moving jobs, it could be just like a super enjoyable collaboration where you team up with people who are smart, intelligent, pleasant, or right up your street, and who also help you think differently, and maybe think differently about what you bring to the table, and about what your resources are, and about what your strengths are. It could also be like a new beginning, as I said, generally in terms of job, that just like simply pays better, and you are very excited because of that, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna be able to like buy this, and that, and it's gonna make a huge difference in terms of my lifestyle, let's say. This can also be a fresh start, my dear Capricorns, when it comes to your health. So you might start working with someone health-wise, someone who can teach you new things about health, who can kind of like help you implement maybe new habits, new routines health-wise. You might also start working out, for example, with a group of people. It's a great time to kind of like start blending socialization with health in some shape or form. So I would not shy away from like emphasizing that in your life in some shape or form. It feels like you might need to learn some sort of a new language or new way of communicating and expressing yourselves, Capricorns. And initially you might be a little bit reluctant. You might be even a little bit fearful and feel vulnerable because you don't know, okay, if I use this kind of like new language or new way of expressing myself at work, how are people going to react? I don't know. I'm not so sure. Like whatever reservations you have, my recommendation would be to ask for help, connect with people, because people are going to be very welcoming. They're going to be very willing to help you. So leave reservations aside. That is my recommendation. Aquarius, Aquarius suns and Aquarius risings. New moon, 6th of June, active 3 days before, 3 days after in your 5th house. Okay, so some Aquarians are going to hear news of pregnancy. Some Aquarians might share news of pregnancy with the world. Some Aquarians might hear fantastic news connected with their children if they have kids already. Maybe you discover that your child is, I don't know, like acing it. They're like killing it in school, or they have a fantastic talent for, I don't know, like a specific like sport or game or something along those lines. You may feel very kind of like proud and lucky and blessed to see your child kind of like growing and evolving and maybe integrating themselves within a new community. Some of you could also start something new and fresh on the romantic front around this time. If you are connecting with someone romantically, if you're single, this person is likely to really shift the way that you think about yourselves and the way that you see yourselves. So you might start seeing yourselves in a new light after talking to this person, after kind of like maybe picking up some of their like ways of thinking and ideas. It feels like someone is really, really strongly stimulating your mind in a way that is very pleasant and very enjoyable. And they could be literally a source of inspiration, Aquarius, regardless of whether you're attracted to them romantically or not. But I dare say that there's a high chance for romantic attraction at the time of this new moon. Of course, if you're single, you may want to start like dating, you may want to start socializing, because you're probably going to meet someone quite quickly. It feels like you're also starting to think differently around this time, Aquarius. Differently, like for the better. I mean, like it definitely seems to bring in an infusion of like positivity and optimism and pleasure. You might start thinking differently about the things that make you happy, and you might have like some really like strong aha moments and come up with like novel ideas and say, okay, maybe I thought this is what made me happy, XYZ, but now I'm willing to experiment. I'm willing to try out new things. I'm willing to be curious again. Gemini is a sign that loves trying new things. It's instinctively quite curious. It's a mutable sign. So it would not hurt to maybe like try out something new, try out a new passion, a new hobby, a new activity, maybe together with a group of people, because you might really like it. And not only are you probably going to like it, you might discover that you have like a real knack for it, like you've got real talent for it. Like it's definitely something worth investing your time and energy in. It might cost, I will just say this, it might cost you something. I mean, you might be a little bit worried about the resources aspect, but it doesn't mean that you don't have the money. You might just need to like revisit your budget a little bit, Aquarians. This can also be the beginning of a fresh creative project in conjunction and collaboration with someone else. It's probably going to get you out of your comfort zone. It's probably going to have you kind of like trying out new creative like means and methods and think differently from a creative perspective. Do not shy away from it just because maybe you're afraid that you don't have enough experience, Aquarius. That is my recommendation. And lastly, Pisces. Pisces suns and Pisces risings, 6th of June, active 3 days before, 3 days after. New ideas, new beginning, new way of thinking when it comes to, well, your home life, your family life, your living situation. I have to say, you might start kind of like some conversations behind the scenes, together with family members, maybe together with a loved one, together with your partner, about your living situation in general. And you might start thinking, you know what, maybe we need a change. Maybe we need to, I don't know, like start renovating things. Maybe we need to, I don't know, like add another like room to the house, or maybe we need like fresh kind of like energy in the house. Maybe we need to change the furniture or something like that. You might, however, also start discussing about more significant transformations around the house, such as whether the house that you're living in, the place that you're living in, is suitable or not really for your needs moving forward. It feels like there's like fresh curiosity in terms of experimenting something new living situation wise. So maybe you're going to start thinking about like a different home, a different living situation. Maybe you're going to consider like another set of options living situation wise. Some of you could also start talking and thinking about maybe like expanding the family in some shape or form. I mean, in the next year, there's a high chance that the family is going to be expanded anyway, with Jupiter transiting your 4th house, my dear Pisces. So it feels like there could be some really important conversations, like really enjoyable, really pleasant, like overall kind of like good vibes type of conversations around like growing the family, expanding the family. It also feels like you are maybe talking around this time, around the 6th of June, Pisces, talking to family members about some of your old fears and some of the old ways in which you used to, I don't know, like sabotage yourselves, Pisces, or hold yourselves back. And it feels like the conversations are very useful, very productive, and helping you kind of like maybe understand things at a deeper level. So there could also be a lot of like talks about like secrets or things that were going on behind the scenes that you didn't necessarily know of, and now things are making a lot more sense, and you're starting to look at your connection with the family and the past, and maybe even with your parents, in a new way, in a novel way, in a different way. One of your parents could be going through a fresh start, my dear Pisces, around this time. Maybe they're telling you, we're going to sell the house and we're going to move to, I don't know, like Spain, and you're going to have to come visit us. It's possible. It's possible. The parents aspect, I mean, if they, and family members kind of like going through a change around this time could be quite a significant change. And maybe it's something that's been like brewing under the surface for a while, but now it feels like, okay, it's out into the open. You're talking about it. You might be happy for them. You might also be a little bit sad for yourselves. my dear Pisces. It feels like you feel in some shape or form a tiny little bit responsible, and you feel kind of like the pressure of duty and doing the right thing towards family, towards parents. That maybe throws a little bit of a, I don't know, like a little bit of like reserve and cautiousness when it comes to the overall like optimism of this new moon. It kind of like throws a little bit of like cautiousness into the mix. My recommendation is to not be fearful. I mean, I can see that you might be a tiny little bit afraid. Yes, be practical, but not fearful, because even if this is a big change coming up, people are on your side, family is on your side. If you're in a relationship, the partner is on your side. So it's a joint kind of like project, and you're going to get plenty of help, and things are going to work well if you collaborate with others. And that is Pisces for the new moon. Folks, please tell us in the comments how the new moon is playing out for you. What are your intentions? What are your thoughts? What are you planning to kick off? Who are you talking to? What sort of like new ideas are coming your way? Because I'm very curious to hear this from you. I might not respond to all the comments because there's like many of them, but I do read all the comments. And don't forget that if you want to work with me, if you want to book a personal astrological reading with me to see how the year ahead is likely to play out for you, how you can best align yourselves with the cosmos, how you can work with the cosmic energies rather than against them, because there is a right time for everything. Astrology does believe in that. Then remember, you can find me on my website, which is writteninthestars-astrology.com. That is writteninthestars-astrology.com. Straight to the services section. That's where you can go. You can also find me on Instagram at ruxunbelievable. Ruxunbelievable in one word. Lastly, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, I would appreciate you subscribing and liking and commenting and sharing with your friends if you find the content useful. Thank you once again for joining me, and I will see you next time. Bye.